As you know, my name is Todd Ridgway, and I have the honor of running a couple of masterminds here. And we've got a wonderful mixed group today. We've got a group that this is our Cabernet Club meeting, and most of you that are in the Cabernet Club know that this is a collection of folks that have met a set criteria, production criteria, the units and volume, and we create a smaller, more kind of a exclusive group, and we delve pretty deep into both strategies and ideas and resources. And then I run the Forever Agent Mastermind, which is open to all agents, and there is some good crossover. And so today we have some special guests from the Forever Agent. We have our Cabernet Club Masterminds coming on, and we also have special guests from our from the rest of the company. And if you're on and not in the Cabernet Club, I congratulate you and welcome you. You are on the radar, if you will, and nipping at the heels of this exclusive and special production group that we've put together. And I fully expect you to be in the club, if you will, and move into a position with your wonderful production and the contribution that you're giving to the company. So what we want to do today first, I'm going to show you a piece of technology that I think was made available to me. It's pretty cool. And then we'll kind of do a little bit of round robin about what we think about this technology, how it'll be, how and if it'll work for us. And I can answer any questions or any of those kind of things. So this technology, I've got all this stuff on my screen here. It's called Highnote, and it is, you can go to you can search Highnote or go to Highnote. That's HIGHNOTE.io is their website, or you can just search Highnote. And it's a presentation software that I think is very flexible and very user-friendly. So what it allows you to create is let's call them landing pages, and they're specifically linked landing pages. They set you up with a template that has, of course, your picture on it, and they have hundreds of templates that have these, or maybe not hundreds, but they have several templates that you can set up in different ways. But it basically allows you to build a landing page specifically for every strategy, every client. You know, think of one per client. Think of a buyer's page. Think of resources page. If you're doing a seminar, I use it in my seminars. And when I say I'd like to give you some additional information after the seminar, online seminar, I have a page that I send for that. So I'll show you a little bit about that. But this particular one is for a buyer's page. So it's a buyer info. And this team here has created this page, and it allows them to put their contact information. So you can upload, in this area here, you can upload videos, PDFs, JPEGs, any kind of media that you can think of, you can upload there. It gives you an opportunity here to custom name it, and then a little piece of text here that you can describe it. So they've used it in this instance to do a buyer link, and then they can email this link to anybody. They can send it to them. They can also send it an invitation that requires the user to type their email in, so you can gain some information. We all know that gaining lists are going to be very important as things move on. I'm going to check my participants list and make sure that, see if Wendy is on yet. Wendy, if you're on, you can, as soon as you get on, Ms. Durand, you can tell me. Doesn't look yet. So anyway, so they've created this particular buyer page. You can use it to create email lists, which I think we all know is going to be important going forward. You know, building a fence around folks. They've added a introduction video. This is her team members' information. They talk a little bit about, they have a testimonials page, so you can view the PDF here. So this is kind of cool. Let me see how I get out of there. Oh, sorry. There we go. Again, more about their buyer's presentation. They can put a sample of the contract. Any amount of this is a PDF, but you can do, this is a little video they've done. So you can do things on showing, making a stronger offer. So I think people get the point, but this is a very customizable. This is a pretty robust one they've done. They talk about pre-approval, put the checklist on there, tell people about a life of escrow. I mean, you spend 15 or 20 minutes putting this together and it becomes your buyer presentation. Anybody that talks about wanting to become a buyer, you can send this out to them. And then somebody says, Sharice, something through Resource Center. I don't know. I put this in front of Dave. I don't believe we have anything this robust. Dave, you could speak to that. I think we have. You can create quite a bit on Resource Center, but I'm not sure we have anything that allows this flexibility. I'm sure there's other companies that do it. Sharice says Breakthrough Broker has it. I'm sure they do. This is, I think this particular service is under $20 a month or something like that. And so I've used one. I've used one for a buyer's or a seller. This is I'm calling it their personal transaction page. I put their net sheet on it. A copy of the required listing documents. I put a little marketing overview, a personalized little launch calendar on here of when I'm going to do what. I put the lifestyle guide, and I'm adding to it as we go. So this, of course, isn't the only company that does this on the planet, I'm quite sure, but I did like this one. Hold on.
Yeah, Sharice, we're looking at it, and I'm looking at it in the context of other stuff that's coming from the brand as well. So Todd is our guinea pig, and he's keeping me updated on his work product, so to speak. So we'll keep talking about it. But if Todd is finding it to be of value, then we'll take a serious look.
Yeah, I just figured I'd show it to you guys, and it does what I think is also interesting. It has analytics, so it'll show when it was opened, how long it was open for, what was looked at in the document, those kind of things, and you can tell if somebody's watching your videos or looking at your thing. So if you think about it on that terms of a lead generation tool, you put something out there, you can link a Facebook ad to it or a post to it, right? And then someone clicks on it, they have to put their email in to get access to the information. It serves as a little kind of a mini funnel, right? A little landing page. And then you can watch them if they watch the video twice, or they share the video, or they download the video, or they download the preparing to buy a house or preparing to sell a checklist. I think that gives you some insight into what they're looking at. So again, it gives templates and all that kind of good stuff. So I just wanted to share that, and then ask the question in the group. Let me get back to the world here. I wanted to ask the question in the group, and while we wait for Wendy to come on, what are you folks using that allows you to communicate your brand, your value proposition, and your specific information that you're giving to folks that allows you to do that in a passive way. This is a real passive system. It allows you to put it out there, let people see it, track what they're doing, and then come back to it. So does anybody have any, again, this is a mastermind group. We want to share what we're doing. We want to turn our cameras on if we're not already, if our cameras aren't on, because that allows us to really interact with each other. And so if Colleen made a comment, she went to the website on the wait list. Yeah, they put you on that's their marketing idea, right? They put you on the wait list and they ask you to refer a couple of agents to it. I think if you put in the chat, oh, Wendy's here, super. If you put in the chat on Highnote that you're real excited, they get back to you. Okay, it looks like Wendy's here. Do we see Wendy? Go ahead. There she is. Hello, Ms. Durand. Welcome to First Outdoor Home Services California Realty Cabernet Club. And I've got some special guests throughout the company here and some managers, and we're so happy to have you here. Is that your actual bright shining window behind you, or are you making a
No, I wish. So first I want to thank you, Todd, for the opportunity. I'm actually in California too, Southern California. So, if I'm on a call with, and if you hadn't noticed today, we announced India has joined our network. Wow. If I'm talking to someone in another country, I love them to see the Southern California opportunities to refer clients to you, right? So thank you.
Well, we talked a little bit about what we'd like to cover today, and you have as much time as you need. And so what I've kind of prepped the group for is to hear from the top marketing and global communications person in the brand on what we should be looking for. What are kind of the top trends in real estate? I think a few things obviously come to mind: the IQ system, influencing your sphere, being authentic on social media, those kind of things. But I just wanted to give you the floor and tell us what you think we need to keep our eyes on.
Absolutely, and thank you again. It's so lovely to meet everyone. You may hear I have a little bit of an accent. I'm kind of a hybrid UK California. I don't really fit in anywhere anymore. But one thing I love about everything, no matter where you are in the world, is real estate. And just a little bit of background. I've actually been in the real estate industry for a few decades now. I started with Prudential California Realty when they first purchased Merrill Lynch. I just aged myself so much. But, from working in Southern California, from, first-time home buyers with agents working with first-time home buyers, to multi-million-dollar properties where you realize that, money doesn't give you taste, trying to find those buyers before the internet. It's just such an amazing journey through real estate. And I really admire how hard everyone has to work. I think sometimes people forget you have to wake up every morning and just start prospecting, right? It's nonstop. It's nonstop. It's just the whole world right now. There's so much noise out there online that how do you really focus on your marketing? Because Zillow wants this, you hear about iBuyers, you got to be on social, there's still print that's important. So I think there's so many elements, and I think one of the things that we're really seeing in marketing is really that digital persona marketing. And one of the things that's been introduced recently is where this digital marketing, and I know you can do this through Chalk Digital, which I think is going to be huge, is where you can actually target your client, and once they go into their home and they turn on the Wi-Fi, anyone else that's connected to that Wi-Fi, you are now going to deliver digital messaging to them too, which kind of freaks me out. I mean, I've sat there and I'm like, I suddenly say to my husband, were you just looking at this? Because I just got an ad on it and I didn't even go there. I mean, that's the intelligence that we're getting. on digital advertising. And I think that's really going to be a forethought and should be part of your marketing plan on how to get in front of everybody in your ecosystem. But I think a lot of people are also forgetting about print. And when I talk about print, I'm talking about direct mail, because I think there's so much value to direct mail. Yeah, there's that 7 seconds they say when you get the piece of mail out of your mailbox and you put it in the trash, but you are still branding yourself. And I know I am marketing, so I probably look at things more than anybody, but there's something about getting that mailing piece. And it takes 8 times for someone to remember you. So by doing that consistently, like if you did a digital ad every single day or every other day to your sphere of influence, once you've done that 8 to 10 times, you can now do that once a month or once every 6 weeks, because you're now in the memory and they think they see you often. I do that all the time, right? I'm like, oh, I got another mailer from Andrea. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? It's been 6 months, but I think it's only been last week because she's branded herself to me. So I think there's so much importance in that direct mail side of it. Also, there's not much in the mail anymore. So you stand out more than you ever have before by having a direct mail plan. So I think it's really important to keep the direct mail, as well as looking at what's trending, and that is absolutely the digital space. Geo Targeting is another great program. I think, everyone wants to know about real estate. No matter whether you're in the market now or not, you want to know what's going on in real estate in your market. So anytime you have a listing and you can push that listing out on digital so that it geo-targets, almost like it's a digital just listed program, right? And we're doing that for you as a brand for 1 week, but keep that going, expand the distribution. The other thing you can do is with that distribution through AdWorks, if there's a certain feeder market, you can take that property and you can hit the feeder market. So if you have people moving from 50 miles away and there's a lot of movement between those, then market your property digitally to that area so that those people are seeing the opportunities that you have available in your marketplace. So I think those are really, really the big trend things. Is absolutely the direct mail I would continue with, and then also looking at that either through Chart Digital or AdWorks on how you can really connect with your consumer. The other thing that I think is really important is the messaging, and we're seeing this more and more. Not only do people love real estate, but they also love to know that you're knowledgeable. We did a survey with the Wall Street Journal, and the top survey results that came back said their most important thing about working with a real estate agent was their knowledge of the community. So, and I think that totally ties into the IQ system. So I think any time that you can give content, rich content to your sphere of influence or through geo-targeting, the more you are going to become their influencer, the more you are going to connect with them by giving them content that they want. And I know Todd mentioned about social media, putting content out on social media. How do we manage all of that? How do we make it more engaging? So we have a few programs. We have the Lifestyle Planning Guide, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. And then we have all of these other pieces that sit under the Lifestyle Planning Guide. There's great content pieces in there. You can go into Marketing Resource and you can make them all into a flipbook. So now you have a URL, and then you can take the persona piece of social media and put it out there and say, are you ready to right size or downsize? And then click through to the brochure that gives them great information about, if they're considering doing that. And then of course your contact information in there. One of the other pieces that we've seen that came out of the Wall Street Journal survey is this year there's going to be, and this is a trend that we're watching, there's going to be a lot of remodeling. So how great is it for you to be the influencer with your ecosystem to those in your sphere of influence to talk about, are you thinking about remodeling? I'd love to meet with you and let you know what are the most important parts of your real estate to enhance. And then you can be that trusted advisor. And then you also have the ecosystem, right? And I think even on, in the resource center, look for the discounts that are available that we have through our preferred alliance with some of the companies as well, where your clients can get a discount on paint, for example, through the Berkshire Hathaway company. So there's all of these pieces that you can bring in as part of your ecosystem, and that is a hot trend for this year. All the people that did move or were considering moving, they're like, should I move or improve? And then, of course, as we're talking about this, Alan Dalton created another piece for us that's called Move, Improve, or Relocate. So again, more great content. And you don't have to send the whole brochure out. You could take one paragraph, because now it's creating that opportunity for you to have a conversation with them. So whether you're doing it through your CRM or whether you're doing it through social media, people love to see real estate, but they also love to see rich content. And we are always adding rich content through IQ. Does anyone have any questions? Because as you can see, once I start, I hardly stop for a breath. So just stop me if you want to. Todd's like,
you're good. If anybody have any questions, they can raise their hand and put them in the chat.
Please do.
So we'd love to just get as much insight as you have. I love that idea of, we get overwhelmed sometimes. I do anyway. There's so much content out there.
Yes. So
much available through the brand that, sparsing it up and using it in new and different ways.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit. Some technologies that allow you to take content, put it on a page, make a link for that page, and then get it out on the social media. So that's super important.
And I think also the campsite. I don't know if anybody has been to the campsite calendar yet. This is the calendar we put inside IQ. And we have a lot of links directly to posts you can put on social, and then also to playbooks. So if you are wanting to build up your ecosystem, there's some examples there of what other agents have done. There's, one of the hardest things I think for everybody is to get testimonials, right? And testimonials are so important. How many times do we look when we look somebody up and then we look to see if anybody has said anything about them? So I think if you can get testimonials, but it's so hard to ask, right? Oh, can you write about how great I am? So, that sometimes stops us from taking that next step. So, getting testimonials are great too. And here's another great thing you could do. Like today, we just announced India being part of our network. Go to our channel and share that and just say, oh my gosh, our brand just keeps growing around the world, and start sharing those great posts with your network, just to show that you're part of such an incredible brand that touches every corner of the world. But back to the campsite calendar. So for example, on the campsite calendar, the beginning of the month, we have a link directly to the newsletter. So the newsletter is ready for you to send as an email. But what we did is we took each one of those content pieces and we created a social post as well as the copy. So now you have 4 weeks of social post that is content rich, that's on trend because our writer writes this unique content just for Berkshire Hathaway Home Services that you can now take, you can put on your own blog, you can put on your website, or if you prefer, we already have a landing page within our ecosystem of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. So again, just having that great content that goes out there that just shows you as the knowledgeable real estate agent for your area, which again, as I was mentioning with the Wall Street Journal survey, that is the #1 reason that a consumer chooses an agent is because of their knowledge of the marketplace. And I think that's just so important to position yourself as that person. And the IQ system is going to help you be that influencer. I know more and more, I just love getting direct mail too. As I mentioned earlier, I think it's a space that people are not doing, and it's very affordable as well. And it's not as noisy as online, even though you need that online as well. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, I'm just going a mile a minute here, aren't I? I think one of the other pieces that Todd had asked me about was also the iBuyer. So I think there's always going to be a space for something like that in the real estate industry. There's always going to be those people that are like, just take it, just buy it. I don't want it. I don't want to do any hassle. Here, just take it. Some of the stats that we got from Zillow was actually only 10% of was the iBuyer, and 90% are actually solid leads that Zillow sells. So I think the thing about the iBuyer is, like I said, there's going to always be that audience that wants that kind of transaction, but it's going to be a small number. What I recommend is just being knowledgeable about it, right? And being able to talk about it to your seller or your buyer about the reality versus you being there for them and taking care of everything. I mean, that's the thing at the end of the day, right? You're their advisor. You know, a machine isn't gonna, they're just gonna say, okay, here's we'll buy your house, right? It's not got that emotion around it anymore. So it's a certain kind of consumer that's going to go to that route. There is a website that's really good, and I'm going to put the URL in chat. His name is Mike Delpree. I think his last name is Delpree. You guys probably know him.
Delpree.
Thank you. Yeah. I see, that's the Brit in me, right?
That's all right. He is the venerable iBuyer analyst.
Yes. So he has, I just put the link in the chat, but he has all of these different articles on iBuyer. And I think, you know, if I was selling real estate today, I would study all of this, and I would make sure that if I have any questions from a consumer, that I can answer them. You know, like I say, there's going to be good things and bad things about every product depending on the consumer. But again, it's going back to that having the knowledge, being able to talk about it. In regards to Zillow, we're staying very, very close to them. We are watching them like a hawk. So, you know, Zillow, when they started, oh yeah, we're not going to be in the real estate industry. Then they got their broker's license, and then they let the broker's license go and say, we don't want to do this. And now they're playing in that game again. So we are watching them very closely. You know, it's like frenemies. You keep them close, and we are talking to them behind the scenes, trying to get more information out of them. But we don't really have much to report on Zillow yet, apart from the fact that we are going to stay very close and make sure that whatever they do, that we're informed ahead of time, so that you all have that intelligence too.
Wendy, can I ask a question?
Yep.
A lot of what you've been articulating, I would say, makes a case for the real estate IQ system, but I checked our brokerage's metrics yesterday, and here we are about a month after convention, and only about 10% of our agents have started their real estate IQ system journey. So help this group understand the importance of why they should get started today, please.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Dave. And, you know, first of all, convention was amazing. People didn't know what was live, what was recorded, and we loved that about it, first of all. And that's where Chris introduced the real estate IQ. So one of the things that has been part of real estate for a long time, as long as I can remember, is that loyalty gap. So that's the gap between, you know, you represent a buyer or a seller, and then you really don't continue that relationship except through marketing. There's just not that relationship with them personally, because we all get busy, right? And they go in a database, and then the database just works, and sometimes it's very generic, so it's not even hitting the right message. So the IQ system was created to really take away that loyalty gap. It's the strategy on how to keep your past clients with you at top of mind whenever they think of real estate or anything to do with real estate. So, perfect example is the ecosystem. One of the channels within the IQ system is how to create a better ecosystem. And as I was mentioning earlier, this year is looking really, really hot on trends for remodel. How great is it for you to be able to build your ecosystem with you know, a remodeling company, a plumber, you know, just all these pieces that you have already, but like put them in a strategy to start reconnecting with past clients by saying, the trends are coming that people are remodeling. Are you thinking about remodeling? Oh my gosh, let's meet. I can help you put more value in your real estate. You're not asking them to sell. You're advising them that you can advise them on how to build that equity even more in their real estate. By having all of these connections, that's your ecosystem. And also you become an influencer. So by becoming an influencer, you are now top of mind. Your client's going to say, well, you know, I remodeled because I spoke to David, and David had the best references for me on people that could do this job for me. So again, they're going to think of you for everything that they do. We want to not just be a real estate transaction company. We want to be relationships over transactions. And by getting relationships over transactions, you really have to be that influencer. We all had influencers as we grew up, right? You're like, oh my God. And your parents would go, don't go out with that one. That one's a bad influence, right? So you think about the influence has already been there. But for you to be an influencer, it just means that you're top of mind every time they think about anything to do with their real estate now, future, buy, sell, invest. You are the first one they think of, and anything that has to be done with that real estate. The other thing is with influencing is really connecting yourself with the community. And we saw this, we have a great video by Jimmy Burgess in the IQ system that shows how you can connect with, for example, restaurants, how you can become a partner with them in their marketing too, how you can give away, you know, discounts to a certain restaurant, or there's one that's called Restaurant Bingo, where they have to go to each one of the restaurants and you have the branded bingo piece, right? And each restaurant says, oh yeah, we'll do this. And then whoever gets bingo first gets a prize. So again, you're endearing yourself not just to your clients, but also to the whole community by being that face with all of those establishments, especially those that have really had a hard time through COVID as well. The restaurant business especially, by bringing more business to them, you are really showing yourself as a community, enhancing the community as well for everybody that lives there. So we have these different channels within IQ system that really shows you how to strategize and how to formulate a plan on all of these different avenues, including social media, and how to engage with everyone and become an influencer. Oh, look, Todd's cat's joining us. Love that. That's the thing about Zoom nowadays, right? You never know if an animal or a kid's going to show up. I love it. So one of the other channels under the IQ, and what you can do is if you go to the IQ, you go to Resource Center, click on the IQ button. The first thing I would do is do IQ, we have an IQ test. And this really tells you, you know, are you beginning in the influencer? Are you pretty good in the influencer? Or are you, gosh darn it, you are an influencer extraordinaire? So do that first and see where you sit. But we also worked with a chap called Neil Schaefer. And Neil Schaefer is well known in the social media industry. And he really takes us through playbooks on how to engage in social media and how to be that influencer again. An influencer isn't necessarily about posting about you. It's posting the content, but it's also making sure that you comment on other people's posts. So often, right, we've got these thumbs just going a million miles an hour, and you're like, oh, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice. And I do it myself. And then I'm like, just stop. These people, you know, they get so happy when someone interacts. So, but just by taking that few minutes and going through and seeing all the posts for the day and make sure that you interact with them. Congratulations. You know, every time I see something that I can put congratulations, welcome. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Just go in there and do it, because again, that endears people to you and you become more and more of an influencer. So IQ system is something everyone should do. You should just go in there and explore. And then the campsite, which is the content, activity and media planning calendar, has links on it. So we have something for you every single day to do. Now, you don't have to do something every day. You're like, oh my gosh, Wendy, that's just too much. I can't do everything every day. So you know what? Pick Thursdays or pick Mondays and do that one thing on social. And like I said, some of them are linked directly to Assets in Marketing resource. Some of them are like, okay, start planning a community event, a link to that page, or start thinking about charity fundraising. Here's how to start a fundraising campaign. And then the next month, here's how to launch the campaign. So again, by creating an influencer through all these different avenues, you're touching something that is special to everyone. So you need to be a chameleon almost, right? Fundraising is going to touch a certain persona. And then you've got, you know, people who love to eat by touching the restaurants. But anything you can do to bring the community together, you then become the influencer in that marketplace. Any questions?
I'm getting a lot of questions in the chat about where is it, what is it, where.
Oh.
It's all right there. It's so easy to get to, right? Click on Resource Center, log into the IQ system. There's some stuff at the bottom, some videos to watch. There's the playbooks on the right, and then the camp calendar, I believe, is just below that.
Do you want me to do a quick screen share, Todd?
Yeah, if you want to do that and walk us through what you think are the highlights, that'd be great.
Instead of my arms just flying all over the place, right?
Yeah, sure. Susan, can we give Wendy the con?
You mean Sharon?
I mean Sharon, sorry.
I should be able to share unless you've forbidden me.
Go ahead, give it a try.
No, I can do it.
Yay, outstanding. All right, here's the expert. Here's one of the contributing members to this, walking us through on our... All
right. So when you go on Resource Center, right here, IQ system, you click on the IQ system. Let's hope my internet's fast today, right? So we will be adding more content into here. We will be adding more content, but we started with getting started, community networking. So that's really all about that restaurant bingo and what have you. My real estate ecosystem, that takes you through building your ecosystem. Marketing and communication covers so much. It covers social, it covers the real estate lifestyle planning guide, and then my personal brand and promotion. This is where you want to go first, my real estate IQ. This is where you're actually going to, and I'm not going to do mine because I probably suck, but just saying.
Always improvement for everybody.
There's always
I've done it twice. Yeah, I've done it a couple times. It's a great tool, and it has questions that make you think.
Right.
And really like, oh, I got to, make some notes, and right. It's a great tool.
But how to create wealth creation. This is a great piece from, I think it's from one of the agents in Utah, how they realized that they had such a referral base and they were doing nothing with it. And so it was like how they built up their referrals and working with a mortgage broker, to get referrals back to them. So there's so many different things in there in the business plan. So this is the campsite calendar. And this is the April one that's available right now. So once you go to the campsite calendar, and it's so funny because once we had done this, we then were asked to do a print piece, which we did. So you can actually print this, and then you could put it next to you, so you can just look at it every day and go, oh my gosh, I got to go there and click on that. But as you can see, we have almost every day filled with opportunities here. We got the newsletter article, we got the lifestyle planning guide, consultation with 10% of SOI, listing events. So this goes immediately to Resource Center and brings up all of the templates for if you have a listing or an event. Strategic, personal, promotional, lifestyle. So if I click on here, persona, lifestyle, what it's going to do, and we are going to create more personas, but this is going to tell you if you want to speak to specific personas, we are going to add more and more to this, but this is going to help you message to them. So whether you're working with first-time home buyers, downsizers, or luxury. So for example, let's go to downsizing by design. This is now going to give you an overview by Alan Dalton on how to strategize on talking to your clients and how to position the downsizing opportunities. And then also here, all you have to do, you'll see links throughout. So right here in marketing resource, it will take you directly to the lifestyle and planning guide directly from here. So now here, see, we've got downsizing, a checklist for caregivers, downsizing your home. So again, we've got more and more tips. So you can just keep going and keep going. And there's these different opportunities to read more. And again, get that great content for your sphere of influence that's looking to downsize.
And we can share directly from that, those articles that you're shown. It has a little Facebook or icon on it. You can share directly to your Facebook from there, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And so what we do every Saturday, we do a personal passion content. And here's one, for example, on the 17th, it's Instagram. So we wanted to call out Instagram, and on the 24th, LinkedIn. So if you go into the Instagram post right here, this is going to take you to the Neil Schaefer content that talks about Instagram content optimization. Now, we're just throwing things on Instagram, right? He really goes into detail on how to get the best out of all your Instagram posts and how to optimize them. And then things like Linktree. So, this is a link where you can put everything in your profile, and you just put the Linktree in your profile. You don't have to put a link each time because Instagram doesn't like that. But you have what's called a Linktree in your profile. And then there's all these social media playbooks on not just optimizing, but now what content is the best for all these different channels. So we are continually adding. This is a live environment that just grows every day. One of the other pieces we have in here, as well as the campsite, is we have what's called Spark. If you have a great idea, or if you want us to add content to this environment, you just have to send us information here by Spark. And then over here on the right-hand side, you will see the most inspiring topics that everyone's looking at. So who knew that Amazon, the Sunshine Kids, for everything you buy through Amazon, and we all buy through Amazon, every time you buy something through Amazon, there's a donation to Sunshine Kids. It doesn't come from you, it comes from Amazon. You still pay the same price, but who knew that was an option that you can now use to build up, the opportunity with Sunshine Kids. This is exactly how you can start using Amazon Smile in everything that you do. And it's not costing you anything. So again, it's supporting a great charity. It's, you can talk about the influencer program, how, you're even donating, you're getting a donation for everything you're doing through Amazon. How great to share that with your clients. Did you know? Because it's not costing us anything, but you are being the influencer to let them know that Amazon has this charitable program for everything that you purchase. Any questions?
We did have one that I'm not sure I understand, but it says, Wendy mentioned a landing page in Resource Center. Can you talk more about that? I'm not sure. I missed that as well.
Okay, so I'm not sure if, okay, so when we get to the home page of Resource Center, hang on, let me get, okay. So when you get to the home page, maybe this is why I was, see, I sometimes, so the IQ button right here, when you get to the home page of Resource Center, you just click here, and then this is going to take you to all these different pages. So I know what I meant.
That's
Campsite,
what I understood too.
Yeah, Campsite is kind of a shortcut, right? So
yes,
so Campsite will take you to these interior pages based on the subject. So I could go through my personal brand and promotion. I can go this way, but there's also a recommendation on the calendar of what to do. Now, right here, see testimonials. This is one of the pieces we were talking about, right? Testimonials. How do you get testimonials? So this is actually another piece. And again, influencers have great testimonials. So how to get them? This is how Heidi Harris gets them. She has a great strategy, and then best steps right here, and resources, and so she will take you through the best way to get those testimonials.
Wonderful.
And then network influencers. So these are all great opportunities. And like I said, I have to tell you, when we first started this project, there was probably 20 funnels here, and we're like, we can't start with that many. So you're going to see more and more appear, which is very exciting. And the thing about this is it's like the crowdsourcing, you know, because we're building this from the intelligence from you. We're not building it from what we think. This is real. This is what's happening out there. This is how you are being successful. And, you know, if you think about it, if you put something in Spark here, we're going to give you some recognition. You are then going to become an influencer within the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Network, right? Because now they're like, oh, that's from Dave Corey. I remember him. He did that great video in the IQ system. You know, so again, you're not only building your influence to your community, but now you're building your influence to the network. And we know, I mean, there's nothing like having a network of agents, 50,000 of them, to bring more business to you. So this would work both ways. I always see this as an opportunity to position yourself with the brand too. So any questions?
Yeah, so Wendy, Boyd asked, when you were talking about engaging in social media, which is something we so often forget to do, we post and then we stop paying attention to the posts.
Yeah,
and I think this touches on the authenticity piece that we intended to cover today anyway. But Boyd asks, what type of social media response gives you the best exposure / benefit?
So I think that the benefit and the best, so interacting with your clients, I think that's what you need, right, Boyd? If you're going to make a comment for your clients. Yeah, so I think any time that you can make them feel so good about what they're doing without it being cheesy, right? So there's that fine line between salesy, cheesy, and just authentic. You know, any time that you can say, oh my gosh, that's just such it's a congratulations, right? It's making them feel good. It's lifting them up to go, oh my gosh, I really did a good thing. It's just got to be very, very authentic in the way that it's positioned. And by doing that, sometimes it's not just one word, it could be a deeper communication piece. You know, if somebody, let's just say somebody got married, and you know, lots of people, congratulations, you got congratulations that are 50 long, right? I would always stop at the one with congratulations. This is such a milestone, or this is such a great step for you in your life. I wish you years of happiness together. Just make it more real and authentic versus just the standard pop-up where Facebook says, click your answer, right? Or LinkedIn says, click your response. In fact, I whenever I'm on LinkedIn and I see somebody has posted something, and then you go to respond, and it gives you the opportunities to say, congrats on your new job. I always go in there and I edit it and make it personal and put their name in there. Because if you put their name in there also, they know that you actually created that for them. It's not a standard response of, oh, congratulations. You say, oh my gosh, Boyd, I'm so happy for you. By making it familiar, it becomes authentic in what you say. Yeah. Any more questions?
That was great. Thank you.
Sure. So I think I went through that enough for you. I know your event finishes in 5 minutes, right? Oh my gosh, I didn't know I'd talk that long.
We have another 20 minutes. So.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So we want to take as much of your time as you have to give us.
Well, but I don't want you to miss at the top of the hour. I have to say top of the hour now because of all the different time zones. Chris Stewart actually has Neil Schaefer on Facebook talking about the IQ System Social. I don't know if you want to participate in that. Watch it. I just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah, we can certainly. I can try to find that and I can pop it up for folks at the end. But we try to record that stuff and at least put it out and have people watch it. That's the great thing about Facebook, right? You can watch it later too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
One of the things that that you and I had kind of chatted about back and forth was this idea of influencing your sphere, of course, and you talked about that a lot. But there's this tendency to go after the bright, shiny, lead source. And you mentioned Zillow. So we're watching Zillow. What is your advice to agents that are trying to influence their sphere? Which I think we all here believe that does include that includes your farm. That doesn't mean you want to be an influencer, not just the people that know you, but everybody you come in contact with.
Yes.
But how do you suggest that folks manage the new lead versus influencer lead strategy?
Yeah, so I think any new lead. So first of all, I mean, so many people are out there selling leads, right? That it's just crazy. I think the relationship ones to me are priority. I would think. I mean, yes, you always want to cultivate new business, but the new business can be through referrals if you're an influencer or if you become that influencer. The leads online, it can take a lot to cultivate those. I think, that's usually, I would say, the first-time home buyer. I could be wrong. I'd love to know your opinion on that. Is it usually the first-time home buyer that comes through the online leads, or is it? I'm just curious as to what you've seen.
Before they answer that, we're getting a lot of comments that people aren't seeing anything. Wendy stopped screen sharing, so you should just see the regular screen. Dave, do you see everybody okay? I see comments about black screen.
Cindy's having some issues, but I think they're unique to her, so we're fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thanks. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, what we're finding is we're finding some success with new leads, but again, like you said, you're right. They're so transaction driven. They want to know about that property. They want to know about this, and what we're trying to do at the brokerage is really kind of broaden that to here's the true value we can bring as an agent. It goes beyond that single request on that single property. So, we talked about having that kind of attitude when you bring a new lead in. Now that's your opportunity to start influencing, right?
To nurture them.
All your responses need to be based on that. Yeah,
and I think the most important thing when you get your lead is, first of all, and sometimes it's tough, right? What's their persona, because then it's all about messaging correctly, because you don't want to message incorrectly. So finding out, exactly where they are in their real estate life and their lifestyle, that's really important nowadays. It always used to be about, like downsizing. Right now, we should call right sizing, because it doesn't necessarily mean they're getting a smaller home. It could mean they're going to a bigger home, but on the outskirts of town, because, they want more space. So I think it's finding out exactly what they want and messaging correctly. And one of the things I think is really important is just to make sure that you don't just put them in a drip campaign with everybody else, where it's just very, very generic, because that's not going to nurture the new lead, and it's not going to attach them to you if you don't have that emotional connection with them and show that you understand what they're looking for and what they're all about. So, and that's a little hard sometimes online, because of course they're just it's an electronic name, right? There isn't a person. But I think what I would do is I would find an opportunity to, as soon as possible, have a Zoom with them so you can see them face to face, right? And start that emotional connection with them. Because then at least that connects you to them, and versus just having an email communication where your emails may be going into their spam anyway, and then they don't even know if they're hearing from you. And that's another thing actually I've mentioned to people before, is we do have a lot of these drip campaigns that we go into. Make sure that you check your analytics, because if you go into your analytics, you should be able to see if people are not even opening your email. And if they're not opening your email, they may be going into the spam folder. This is a great opportunity, and I know it's a little bit time consuming, but to do a personal from email to email saying, hey, I hope you've been enjoying my newsletter that I send you every month. And then that gives the opportunity for the person to say, I'm not receiving anything. It's like, oh, okay. And then that you're missing that opportunity of connecting with them. So that's another thing. If you put them into a drip campaign, just make sure through the analytics that they're actually looking at it and it's not going into spam. A lot of these online leads do want to be, just want electronic. And that's the other thing. Find out how they want to be communicated with immediately. So many people nowadays, it's text. It's like if you send an email, it might be a week. If you send a text, it's the same day. So that's another thing you have to look at as well. But I think, like I say, I take my hat off to every one of you, because I know it's such a hard business. I mean, you're working those leads all the time. But your biggest return on investment, I do believe, is through, like you said, Todd, your geographic farm, right? And your sphere of influence, because your geographic farm, they know you. I mean, I still know agents that stopped marketing 5 years ago because they did such a great job. I'm like, where's Andrea? Where is she? I miss them. But I wasn't on her sphere of influence. I was in her geographic farm. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it becomes a trout survey. And you mentioned something really important I don't want to let slip. We tend to ask with these online leads or any leads, we tend to ask the what, right? What do you want? What? And we forget to ask the why or how.
Yeah.
And if we're asking those questions and we're segmenting our databases or segmenting our marketing in such a way that we're really speaking to the why and how, then we'd be more successful. So I thought that was a nice little tidbit there.
Yeah.
Anything else that you think is critical that we cover?
I think it's just, Todd, I think it's like, just don't get caught up in all the noise, right? There's so much noise out there that can just drop you out of focus so fast. Another shiny object that comes your way, like you were saying, the shiny objects of buying leads, the shiny objects of just life, the shiny objects every 5 minutes. But it's really, finding your comfortable niche and really, focusing on that and making sure you have a strategy for online and offline, and becoming the best influencer in your neighborhood, by embracing everybody and recognizing everybody. If a local school got an award, throw that on Facebook. I'm so proud of our local school. Just doesn't have to be real estate related. It's community related in everything that you do.
It's a new way of thinking about what our impact is and what our responsibility to our community is.
Yeah. And for a long time, there's just this funnel of real estate agents only do this, right? And we've got to expand the consumer's opinion of how valuable a real estate agent is, because you've helped them with their biggest, and when you leave that transaction, they're like so thankful to you, right? And if you had that opportunity to say, I'm not here for just when you buy and sell, I'm here for you on every real estate decision you make, even to remodeling and building that equity in your home for when you're ready to take the next step in 10, 15 years. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wonderful. Anybody else have any questions? Please go ahead and unmute or ask them in the chat. You've got the czar of marketing for Berkshire Hathaway. You got the number one. We'd love to take advantage of it. Anybody have any questions? Dave, anything that you'd like to add other than I'm sure your gratitude for this wonderful opportunity? Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure.
Yeah, grateful for you being here, Wendy. Thank you so much. And I hope we've encouraged everybody to jump into the IQ system today, take the 10-minute quiz, and then start discovering all of the valuable resources and assets that are there. I think the execution really is quite impressive, Wendy. The direct links into the marketing resource assets is super helpful.
Yeah.
I think we've made this really not rocket science for everybody
right.
to become influencers. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And then remember, also become part of the community, send in spark ideas, and then we can give you the influence opportunity with the network too, which would be fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, again, my personal thanks and gratitude, and the thanks of everybody.
Thank you.
List. We had a great turnout, and we recorded this. We will share it, and I'll slice it up. I do a highlights that I put on our Facebook page, so I'll make sure I post you on that, or I tag you on that.
And I'll make sure I comment.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. Right. We're gonna be influencers. So. Thank you so much again for your time.
My pleasure.
We'll let you go. I know you've got other things to take care of, and we just let us know what we can do to support the brand.
Thank you, and such a pleasure to meet you all. Maybe next time I can come there in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Road trip.
Love that. Thank you, Wendy.
All right.
Thank you, Wendy. Everybody else can hang on for a minute. Thanks. Wendy.
Bye.
There.
All right, perfect. I think that was fantastic. I hope everybody agrees. Dave, what was your stat about 10% of people are looking at IQ?
10% of our agents have formally, you see a little 1-minute video from Chris Stewart when you first get there, and you kind of opt in. And we have only 10% of the brokerage so far that have opted in. Maybe we're just 3 weeks since convention, something like that. I didn't dig up the actual dates from March, which seems like an eon ago. But we've got a long way to go. It's such a powerful new section and set of resources and playbook for how to be more effective online that I don't understand why we wouldn't all be digging in there quickly. So
it is. And really, I've screen shared just so everybody knows, log into Resource Center. It's right there, right? Again, click on the IQ system. And the first thing you want to do is take this quiz, and it doesn't take long. Sit down, grab a cup of coffee or a soda or something, take the real estate IQ quiz. You put your information in there, and it walks you through a few pages of questions, but they're very insightful. They really make you think about your business, and then it actually gives you a little score at the end, and it's valuable feedback. because I thought I was going to do really good, and I got like a, intermediate or whatever.
Oh, so.
Yeah, I was like, man, and then I had to think about it. And I thought, you're right, I could do so much more. So I encourage you to do that. It's not complicated. There's a lot there, but it's parsed down where if you're just interested in this piece, oh yeah, I like to eat, I'll do the restaurant thing. Then you can just focus on that, and it walks you through the entire way to do it. So
yeah, and by the way, my running joke is, if you think social media is going away, then don't bother with any of this, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you think it's a flash in the pan trend,
Sure.
yeah. But if you don't, then perhaps you should leverage it to the best of your ability. And the IQ system absolutely allows us to leverage. Again, like when he said, not only social media, it's not about that. It's about scripts, what to say, how to say it, processes, what to mail, what to, all those things. So.
Well, and how to speak, the persona piece, sometimes we get lost in that word persona. We're talking about a particular client or type of client who's interested in a particular something because of where they are in their life, right? So the ones that are up there now is first-time home buyer, downsizer, and the brand has created all these assets to speak directly to these specific personas and then to offer value to them. And all of that's in there waiting for you guys to discover. So.
Absolutely. Anybody have any experience that they like to share? Anybody got on the IQ system and yet? We have 17 brave people on. Anybody like to share their experience? Jackson.
Actually, I just signed up. It only took, 3 minutes, and then the quiz, it was really easy.
It is super easy, super robust. I don't think it is even that complicated. It's just tabs, right? And if you want to look into it, you go into that thing and come back out.
Very easy.
Great. Let me see if I have a comment. Sorry, my puppy barking up.
Hey, I have a quick question.
So I want everybody to commit. There's someone that has a question. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Janice.
So I started the IQ thing. Oh, sorry, it's my dog. Anyways, I started the IQ thing. I don't know if I finished it. So and I didn't understand that scoring thing. I didn't know whether I was doing well or not. But the question is, can I go on, start it, save it, and go back in? Because you know how our days are. So if I start it, will it save my information? I can go back in. I got to do it all at once.
I don't believe so. I think you have to do it all at once, and you're done because Chris will send you a personal email that gives the you'll get it. I think
they're meters, 3 little
right,
meters.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And at the bottom, it gives you your score, and then it tells you a little bit about it, and then you get an email about it. But you can go and take it again, but I do not believe you can stop and go back in and start.
Okay, and I so love this whole Amazon and the Sunshine Kid thing. I didn't know about this. So, and I could have donated so much with all I spend. So do I just go into the Amazon account and choose a charity I want to give to?
That's exactly right. I think if you search the word charity in the Amazon search box, it'll take you through their whole process of choosing a charity. I know I get reminders every so often saying, you haven't chosen a charity yet. My bad. But I now will choose the Sunshine Kids.
Yeah, that I think is huge. I think every one of us should put a post out to everyone in our Facebook pages saying, if you just go on and sign it, because had I known it, I would have done it.
Yeah, and I think there's, to that point, Janice, I think there's a couple assets there in the IQ system. Maybe it was the link that Todd sent in chat. Does that take you to assets that you can?
No, I just said Amazon link, just a link from Amazon telling you how to do it. I didn't find the assets link.
Perfect. This is great. No, and I love that the content is already designed for us in IQ, so we just have to post it, right?
Yeah, it's all there.
Wonderful.
And again, you can go to Resource Center, type in anything in the search, and it'll get you there. Okay, I'm going to get everybody out of here. If anybody has anything else, like to make these timely.
What is Amazon?
Anybody else? Dave, do you have anything?
No, I'm good, Todd. Thank you. You did a great job. It was awesome getting Wendy here, and I look forward to next month.
Absolutely. Me too. Watch your emails. Thank you so much, our special visitors from the Forever Agents Mastermind. We're so glad that you're here, and we hope that this was kind of a look into the special deep dives we do for folks that have really contributed to the success of the organization, and we consider you as one of those. So keep it up. Congratulations. Thank you all for being here, and we'll do it again soon.
Have a great